So, let's talk about ADHD. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. That's a mouthful, I know. It sounds very clinical and kind of scary. But let's try to think about it a different way. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It sounds very clinical and kind of scary. But let's try to think about it a different way. Imagine most people's brains run on an operating system like Windows, Mac OS, familiar, predictable, designed for a certain kind of workflow. An ADHD brain, though, is running on something more like Linux. It's powerful, it's creative, it can do amazing things, but it doesn't always play nicely with the standard software everyone else is using. It's not broken. It's not a moral failing. It's just different. It processes information, prioritizes tasks, and manages focus in a fundamentally unique way, both a superpower and a massive daily challenge. Before a diagnosis, life can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle, but you've been given all the wrong pieces and no picture on the box. It's a landscape of confusion and deep, gnawing frustration. You see your friends, your family, your coworkers, and they just seem to do things. They remember to pay their bills. They start and finish projects. They don't lose their keys 3 times before leaving the house. You try to do the same things. You really do. You use planners. You set alarms. You make promises to yourself. This time will be different. But somehow it never is. And you're left with this sinking feeling. What is wrong with me? This internal narrative can be brutal. You start collecting labels for yourself, and none of them are good. These words become the soundtrack to your life, whispered by teachers, bosses, family members, and loudest of all, by yourself. You internalize that your struggles are a character flaw. If you just tried harder, had more willpower, you could be normal. The more you fail to meet expectations, your own and others, the more you beat yourself up and the harder it becomes to even try. Many feel profoundly isolated. You might develop anxiety or depression as a direct result of the constant struggle and self-criticism. Then you stumble upon an article, a video, or a friend's offhand comment. A flicker of recognition. It's not laziness. It's a brain that won't shut up, a body that cannot be still. The pieces start to click. When people think of ADHD, they often picture a little boy, bouncing off classroom walls, unable to sit still. And yes, that can be a part of it. The H, hyperactivity. But the stereotype is limiting. Many go undiagnosed for years, especially girls and adults. ADHD is a spectrum. Symptoms vary by age, gender, and personality. They generally fall into inattention and hyperactivity, impulsivity. You can have one, the other, or both. In kids, hyperactive impulsive symptoms are obvious. Can't stay seated, fidgets, blurts out, trouble waiting turns, talks excessively, driven by a motor. Inattentive symptoms are quieter. Daydreaming, losing homework, forgetting lunch, careless mistakes, seeming not to listen. As kids become teens, overt hyperactivity becomes internal restlessness. Procrastination grows. All-nighters. Impulsivity can show up as risks. Reckless driving. Impulsive spending. Social friction from interrupting or zoning out. In adults, hyperactivity is internalized. On edge, unable to relax, mind racing at bedtime. Inattention shows as chronic disorganization. Piles of mail, forgotten appointments, falling behind. Impulsivity might mean frequent job changes, abrupt endings, major whims. Many undiagnosed adults think it's just their personality, not a details person, never realizing there's a neurological reason. Getting an official ADHD diagnosis isn't as simple as checking a few boxes, and thank goodness. A proper, thorough evaluation is crucial. This isn't a 5-minute chat. It's a comprehensive investigation into your entire life, designed to be meticulous and rule out other possibilities. A good diagnostician, psychiatrist, psychologist, or specialized neurologist acts like a detective, gathering clues from multiple sources. The clinical interview is key. Hours sometimes. They ask about childhood, grades, teacher comments, friendships, trips to the principal. A key criterion, symptoms present before age 12. Then adult life, struggles at work or college, finances, relationships, how you spend free time, how symptoms impair you now. Inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity. Standardized rating scales help quantify and compare to DSM-5. They aren't pass-fail tests. Diagnosis doesn't rely solely on self-report. Clinicians often gather collateral input: parents, partners, friends, teachers for kids. Comments like, bright but needs to apply himself, or so much potential if she'd stop daydreaming, can be powerful clues. Multiple observers across home, school, and work build a consistent pattern, a complete picture of how your brain works. The path to an ADHD diagnosis is littered with wrong turns. No blood test, no brain scan. The process is subjective and clinician-dependent. Stereotypes drive misdiagnosis. Quiet, inattentive girls get mislabeled, shy, anxious, or not intelligent, and learn to mask. Rushed visits can default to depression or anxiety, leading to partial help but persistent executive dysfunction. The "you're successful, so it can't be ADHD" myth invalidates people who've coped through brute force and sleepless nights. Responsible care means differential diagnosis. What else could be causing this? Anxiety can hijack focus with catastrophic thinking. Depression slows thoughts and motivation. Looks like inattention. ADHD can co-occur with anxiety or depression. The clinician teases apart which drives what. Sleep deprivation and sleep apnea tank executive function. Irritability, inattention, forgetfulness, impulsivity even after enough hours. Trauma can mimic ADHD, constant alertness, zoning out, emotional dysregulation. The internal chaos is real, but treatment paths differ. That's why history matters, not just finding ADHD evidence, but identifying other experiences that better explain current struggles. You've been through the gauntlet, and you finally have a diagnosis. What happens now? Relief. It's like being handed a user manual for your brain. It reframes decades of struggle as neurological difference. You can start to set down the shame. The diagnosis is the starting line, not the finish line, the after times. Build a multi-pronged plan. It's almost always more than medication. Stimulants and non-stimulants can feel like putting on glasses, one tool in the toolbox. Therapy, CBT adapted for ADHD, and coaching provide strategies and accountability for time, organization, and goals that work with your brain. Learn how your brain works, why procrastination is emotion regulation, why background TV helps you focus. Use knowledge to advocate and design a supportive environment. Headphones, tiny task chunks, visual timers. Stop forcing a neurotypical box. Build one that fits you. Early diagnosis can be life-changing. Accommodations, patient support, less shame. Whether at 7 or 47, diagnosis lets you rewrite your story, understand your past, and design your future.